Hello London, how are you doing? Good. Okay, so I'm Marianne, as you just mentioned. Emma Young was supposed to be here with us today, she couldn't, so just a little word, say hi to her. And so it's going to be just me today, for your own pleasure. And I'd like to start this session, because it's after lunch and I know that I need to keep you all awake, with a little game that's called AI or Not AI. Jingle. Okay, so the rules are very simple. I'm going to show you some content, and you're going to tell me if you think it's AI or not AI. Okay? Yeah. Okay, can you give me a good AI? AI. Okay, not AI? Not AI. Perfect. Lovely. Okay, first up, really easy, please don't be shy. Is Google search using AI to work? What do you think? AI, of course, yes. Thank you very much. Next one, easy one, ChatGPT? Yeah. AI, of course, yes. Okay, ooh, a little bit trickier. Is this AI or not AI? It is indeed. It's a photograph that was generated by a tool called Midjourney. Okay, now what are we looking at? The noise reduction process effect in Adobe Audition 2025. Is this using AI? AI, yay, good. You're already good students, top grade. Okay, now for some music, after lunch music. Yeah.
Who do you serve? Lines in the sand that nobody deserves. Voices right.
I'm not a country fan music, you know. I'm a country music fan, sorry. But is this AI or not AI? It is. Have you heard of this band? Yeah. Okay, they shamelessly created this band with AI without telling anyone for some time, and then, boom, it was revealed this summer in July that the Velvet Sundown were actually a provocation, completely made up with AI. And they just did that, yeah, they did it shamelessly and did a really good ratings on Spotify, but they had to change their bio. So some people are using in the music industry AI as a provocation. Some others are using it as an experiment, like this Belgian rap singer that's called Damso, who actually decided to use AI to clone his voice and do a duet with himself in his latest album. So basically the point is AI is everywhere, and half the time you don't realize it. So I'm Marianne. I'm the founder and director of a media development nonprofit that's called HeyDA, and we do cool stuff with data and tech, mostly in the news and journalism industry, mostly in countries in crisis, because we like to put some spices in the pot. So yeah, we worked with media organizations like the Radio France Group, the BBC World Service in the UK, AFP, Google, and others. What are we doing here right now today together in this masterclass? I'm going to try and get you through 3 levels, okay, in the masterclass. Level 1, the basics that you should really know by now. The level 2, the creative ways that AI is used in the audio industry. And level 3, try and give you a little pep talk and reassurance on the scary future lying ahead, hopefully. All the slides you're going to be seeing on the screen are publicly available online already. If you scan the QR code, you'll get to it, but spoiler. Or you can just note the little link here and get to it later. All right, first up, level 1, the basics that you should know by now. All the fancy illustrations you're going to see are all made with AI. Disclaimer. Okay. First up, obviously, some definitions. What's artificial intelligence? Software that performs tasks which normally require human intelligence, like recognizing patterns, making decisions, generating content, by learning from data rather than relying on some explicitly coded rules. Why does it matter to pros in the audio industry? Whether that's from noise reduction or about script writing, AI powers the tools that you already use and those that you will soon discover. What are we going to be talking about today? I'm going to try and define a few concepts for you guys and keywords that you should know about. We're going to talk about machine learning. We're going to talk about large language models, AI-powered search engines, generative AI, and some audio-specialized AI. All good? Cool. So first up is machine learning. It's a branch of artificial intelligence where computers are programmed to recognize patterns in data and use those patterns to do some tasks, okay, more accurately over some period of time. It's not magic, just a process of identifying patterns. Simple. We often get the question, but how does AI actually learn? This is so cool. Well, it doesn't actually learn, okay? And it doesn't actually understand. It recognizes patterns and it executes tasks. Okay? I've made some memo cards. I know I've got some young people in the room here, some students that are going to be familiar with this. The others, just get used to it. Or get back on it. Memo cards to help you remember the main things to know about all sorts of stuff I'm going to be showing today. So the first memo card is about machine learning. Each time I'm going to tell you what it is, what it isn't, what it's good for, what it's bad for, and some example, okay? So machine learning, we just said, it's software that learns, but not, from examples to recognize patterns and perform tasks automatically. It is not magic intelligence, and it doesn't understand or think like a human. It's very good for, example, cleaning audio or for detecting patterns. It's bad for creative tasks or giving context beyond the trained patterns. For example, you can use machine learning to automatically detect and remove background noise or hums from hundreds of interview clips in seconds. In radio audio, it can also help transcribe interviews automatically. It can analyze large data sets, generate some summaries, reduce background noise, level out audio, etc., etc. Second keyword, LLM. Does that ring a bell to everyone here? We're good? Okay. So large language model, it is a machine learning model that's specialized in language. So it uses the same underlying principles that we just talked about, recognizing patterns in data, but it focuses on text. So when machine learning can handle everything from image recognition to audio editing, LLMs apply that pattern finding power, especially to words and sentences, and also coding. Okay. And it's remarkable for many because it often feels really human-like. So another memo card for you guys, LLMs. The memo card mentioning that the LLMs are not search engines, okay? Or they are not factual databases either. They can hallucinate, I'm underlining it, because that's a very important thing that you probably all have heard of also. In terms of tools, we can mention ChatGPT, but also Claude, Gemini, and if you're looking for alternatives, we also have DeepSeek, Le Chat, French one, and Grok, okay? It's good for drafting some scripts or summarizing transcripts, but it's really bad for fact accuracy, numbers, or detailed sourcing of content. When we talk about LLMs, we often also hear another keyword that's context window, where we're going to talk about this in a minute. And another thing that's important to remember with LLMs is that they don't truly learn new facts. They rely on patterns from their training. Okay? And that's why we are talking now about AI-powered search engines and the duality between the two. And not Google. So AI-powered search engines, they are those interfaces that are going to fetch real-time information from the web and summarize it with AI, okay? They are not LLMs, okay? They are built on retrieval of data and summarization. For example, we've got a tool called Perplexity AI. Does that ring a bell to anyone? Can you raise your hand if you're used to it? Yeah, Perplexity. U.com. Anybody know about this one? Or again, Bing Chat for those who use Microsoft and Copilot. Okay, so those AI-powered search engines, they are good for quick background research, fact-checking also, finding reliable sources, but they're bad at deep creative generation or style variation. So for example, you could use a search engine powered by AI to research the latest regulations on podcast licensing in the UK, and that would just take a few seconds. And I've done a screen grab of that actual research on Perplexity. And if you got to the slide, you can click on it and actually read the entire research here results, if you're interested. And so you see that that doesn't look like a typical search engine result, all right? You're used to having the Google listing of web pages, and those tools actually grab those listings and make a summary for you, okay? So we've got this battle going on between the LLMs and the search engines, because a lot of people use LLMs as search engines, and a lot of other people use search engines as LLMs. So there's a bit of a confusion going on right now at the moment. So to try and help you out, LLM is going to predict the next likely word in a sentence based on patterns, okay? While search engines are going to retrieve information from an index of web pages, okay? So even though LLMs can appear to know things, they're actually only matching patterns, okay? Not a database of facts. Okay, I can hear you think, but on ChatGPT, there's a web search function, right? So is this not an AI search engine feature? Very good question, I might answer. And that's when things get a bit trickier, is that today we've got LLMs like ChatGPT who have built-in search functions that will actually retrieve real-time information from the web, but they will use that retrieved information and then analyze it, interpret it, and summarize it, okay? Using their best prediction as to the patterns that they should deliver to you. While AI-powered search engines grab the information alone, summarize it, and interpret it, let's say a bit more objectively. So you're not using search engines powered by AI in a conversation just like you would with an LLM. And so those two categories, they will continue to blend because one tool is going to try and get more functionalities than the other, et cetera, is, that ongoing race. And the boundaries between them may blur even more in the future. And so it's because you will understand the underlying technologies that you will be well equipped to distinguish their capabilities clearly and set some realistic expectations. That's the only way for you to choose the best tool for each task. So that brings us to our next little keyword, and it's context window. Does that ring a bell to anyone? Raise your hand if you've heard of context windows before. Yeah, thank you. Cool. I love that illustration, by the way. A context window is essentially the memory of a language model, okay? Allowing it to keep track of earlier parts of a conversation. A larger context window means the model remembers more information and produces more coherent results, but it also requires more computing power. So here goes the planet, burning up. Because a lot of people ask us a lot about context windows and who's the best, who's got the bigger one, okay? I've made this memo card for you guys if you're interested, and that's the status like as of today, and things change all the time. And so maybe you've heard of the release of the latest GPT-5 model recently. That is quite impressive, but also last week Gemini 3 got released. And so how do we measure the size of a context window? It's not miles or inches, it's tokens, okay? And so the latest model, GPT-5, has got a 256,000 tokens context window, while the latest Gemini 3 Pro model has a context window that exceeds 2 million tokens, okay? That's a lot. And for comparison, I've talked also about the Claude LLM, who has a context window of 200,000 tokens. And what they say about it is that size doesn't matter, and that the context window hasn't changed in the past 6 months, yes, but the evolution of that model and that LLM has been on the reasoning capabilities, the speed, and the output quality rather than the context window size. So a context window alone doesn't define the model quality. We've got some other factors, okay, that matter, such as accuracy, coherence, speed of response, cost, creative capabilities, and so on. In short, the best LLM depends entirely on the task that you're doing and the type of response that you need, not just the size of the context window. Yeah. Fact, you can choose what model you want in your favorite LLMs. Some people don't know that yet, so I'm just telling you, for each of the LLMs that you know, you can actually click and decide what model you want. But then, how do I choose what is the right model in each of those LLMs? Well, I've done that slide again for you that I'm going to show for a few seconds. You can take a picture of it if you want. That tells you for each of the LLMs what model to use for what type of task. Gone. Okay. So I need to speed up for 7 minutes. I want to talk about generative AI, and that's very exciting because I've done some, cool stuff for you guys. So another memo card. Generative AI that creates new content, right? We're all familiar with this. Who's played with generative AI before? Yeah, fun. Okay. Obviously, it's not a turnkey broadcast quality mix. It often, produces some raw audio that still needs some work on. Examples of tools in the audio industry, we've got Murica AI, Suno, Ava for music, Midjourney, Firefly for images, 11 Labs for voice cloning. And I've made one for you guys today. I went into ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT to write some lyrics about the conference. And then I put the lyrics into Murica and asked it to make a song, a music with it.
Consulate, London on the rise. Radio TechCon's lit, London on the rise. TechCon 25, AI vision in our eyes. Marianne on the mic, Emma dropping the beats. Demystifying AI, from the streets to the seats. Machine learning flow, context window wide. Whisper transcribing shows, no need to hide. Gen AI vibes, source and beats so fresh. Audio futures here, put your skills to the test.
Right, okay. Well, of course, that needs some work, right? But it's quite fun. That probably was the best part preparing this session, to be honest. But I mean, that's as easy as it gets, right? It took me maybe 30 seconds to make this. So really, don't deserve the applaud, but thank you. That just leads us to say that the technology is getting scarier and scarier, and how easy it is, right, to make things from scratch with no competence whatsoever, and just happy robots to do the trick. And on the more accessible side of things, we've got those audio specialized AI tools that you're probably very familiar with that help you edit automatically your audio tracks. They use machine learning to do so. Again, it's not magic, and they just recognize patterns, and they can recognize wave forms and help you modify background noise and stuff like that, fix some very common audio issue. And in the type of tools that you might want to explore if you want to play a bit with AI functionalities in audio specialized tool, we've got Splitter, LaLaLay, but also obviously Adobe Audition uses AI as well. Okay, I want to finish with some creative ways that AI is used in the audio and radio industry. And actually, it helps radio folks on their day-to-day work right now, because big news organizations have started integrating AI in their in-house tools. And here I'm showing on screen a study case from RTS, which is the Swiss national broadcaster. And they are being very innovative with this tool that's called Baker Street. And that has been created to give their editorial team some access to AI functionalities via a web application. And based on some text, audio, not some, a lot, text, audio, and video content, the employees, they can transcribe, translate, summarize, and even interact with content from their TV and radio channels using a library of prompts that are shared via an AI assistant. So they basically built their own little ChatGPT, in-house ChatGPT model in which they fed some ready-made prompts that are useful to journalists and employees of RTS. And employees can just pick which prompt to use to apply to what part of the massive database that they've got. And for example, isolate quotes from a program or an interview, identify key extracts, or even generate subheadings and summaries for their stories. And I've put the link to a study case of this tool if you're interested. You probably have seen some more examples of the use of AI in broadcast. The first on the left was in October by Channel 4. Have you heard of this Dispatches episode? Yeah, that was presented by an AI presenter. So they just cloned a journalist and she presented the entire program. The second example is from Australia, where a radio station secretly used an AI host for 6 months without telling anyone. And actually, people got really upset about this. They had some really bad backlash because of it, because people felt betrayed. They got really emotionally attached to her, and then realized it was a robot. So that's very upsetting. And those kind of applications are really easy to do. And one of the tools that are used commonly for this is 11 Labs. I don't know if you've heard of this, but I've put a link here that you can click on. And they even have their own sample or popular radio host voices you can use if you want. But with human supervision, always. Okay. Last bit, some reassurance. Okay, scary future lying ahead, Big Ben getting destroyed by robots and so on, Well, Will, don't let me down. Okay, well, never mind. I'm not going to reenact the video. But this was a TikTok video that was pretty cool, showing the evolution of AI technology. Back in 2023, someone tried to make a video, a fake AI deep fake of Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it was rubbish. And then they showed you the 2025 version that's just incredibly realistic. And so that's why, that's what scares people off a lot today. But the things that you can expect from AI in terms of reshaping radio and audio engineering, I've got some five of them for you today. First, the fully automated production chains. Second, the ultra-personalized streams. Third, intelligent restoration and processing of audio, very interesting. Fourth, AI copilots in consoles, that's also very fun. And the fifth, obviously some ethics requirements around synthetic voices and content integrity. If you're interested in the full-on details on these 5 items, again, sharing you a link to Perplexity AI. Up. Okay, people are scared that AI is going to take their jobs, that they're going to surpass human intelligence, that AI is going to replace creativity or breaking radio culture. And it's okay to be scared. And it's valid to be scared. And it does help to feel better. It helps feeling better to be excited and empowered. So getting in the right mindset is really key. And those are my last tips for you guys. Use AI for drafts, not decisions. Stay curious, don't fall behind, and build your own personal AI toolkit. The most strategic move is to treat AI as an infrastructure layer, speech, music, whatever, that you can plug into existing broadcast chains rather than as a standalone gimmick. I've done a key takeaway slide for everyone who needs to go back to their office with some learnings. You can just, take a picture of this and say, oh, I've learned that. Okay? I won't tell anyone. The last one being, the most important one, you are irreplaceable. AI will not replace you, but be careful because someone using AI might. That's it. Thank you.